Perfect. Hello, Team Bold and Beautiful. I'm so excited that you guys are here. I'm excited if you are physically here. If you are physically here and you are able-bodied, please turn your camera on. Please blow up the chat, have an interactive call, because tonight, one of my best friends in this business, one of my ride or die girlfriends in life, are on this call. She has given up her evening and she is an incredible human. So right before we hit record, her and Taylor were talking about becoming moms, and that's going to be on her journey here pretty soon. But nevertheless, my sweet, amazing friend AMQ is on the line. She is a 6-star diamond, elite 2021 coach, a premier coach of 2020. She is the founder of Good Vibe Wellness. She is a national wake-up call speaker. She's on the Toronto Market Council because she is over in the top of Canada, over there just crushing it. She's a Success Club All-Star legend. And guys, get this. Last year, she started as an Emerald coach at this time, and then became a 6-star elite qualifying team. So if nothing else, hear that and understand that it is always possible for you to just excel and boom in this business. I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to let Amanda just take it away. I'm so grateful that you're here, sister.
Yay. Thanks, friend. I'm so grateful to be here too. Just like Mariah said, we do a lot in this business together, and we've been able to ride on this journey. We've been coaching for around the same time. I am going to share about my journey. I know a lot of you know about it, but I think for what I really want this call to be, I really want you guys to take yourself where I was and understand that journey. So 5 years ago, it's actually going to be 5 years on December 11th, my coach anniversary. 5 years ago, I had been a challenger for about a month, and I had been ignoring my coach. Bless her. So patient, but she sent me honestly over a dozen messages. And in that time of my life, I was a bar star. I was full bore, balls to the wall, at the bar, didn't matter what night of the week it was. And I was binging and purging, and I was full throttle bulimic, completely in denial, but definitely bulimic. And at that point in my life, I was a mess, right? I was just a tiny tornado. And I don't like to say things like I am a mess, but I am totally okay with saying that I was, because I am no longer. And that took a lot of work. But at that time in my life, anyone who was happy, and I know that you guys can feel this, some of you can feel this to your core, would make me sick. My coach would post about her bopping around her living room and doing these workouts, and she was literally glowing, and I couldn't stand it. It made me so angry that she was happy. And it's embarrassing to even say that, but that is how I felt. And so when she would send me a message inviting me, I would feel I was mad at her. I was just what's your problem? I'm good. Can't you see I'm having so much fun? I literally would answer her and be like, girl, I'm living my best life. I'm having so much fun. What do you know about wellness? You're also a bar star. I was mean, guys. I was so mean to her, and she kept messaging me.
What does that say on the list? What does that say on the list? What's that say on the list?
I'll wait. She kept messaging me. And
what are you talking about?
Chelsea, mute yourself. I can't mute you for some reason.
Oh no.
Keep going, AMQ.
Okay. So I don't know how to be honest, I don't know how she kept on messaging me. I have no idea. But my story, you will learn, is very, very, very rooted in belief in a lot of different ways. And I truly believe that it's because it started with belief. Kirsten believed in me when I had no idea what she was believing in, and she saw something in me that I had no idea was even there. And she kept on sending me messages and kept on sending me messages. And one day, no lie, she sent me a message, and I was at the bar and It was a Tuesday. And I looked at her message inviting me to her next boot camp that was starting the next Monday. And I thought to myself, AMQ, it's Tuesday. We're at a bar on a Tuesday night, giving a girl a hard time because I was ready to fire, right? I was ready to send a mean message again. And I checked myself. I was like, you're at a bar on a Tuesday night, and this girl is inviting you to do something good for yourself. Maybe just do it, you know? And I just did. And I did the whole like, I'm not going to like it. I'm doing the 21-day program because it's 30 days money back guarantee. I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to like it. But just like anything in life, when I do things, I'm an extremist. So when I did get my pack, I went all in. And 21 days in, I was obsessed. And so I was like, fine, I'm a coach, signed up as a coach, didn't even tell her because I was like, she will never let me live this down. And obviously, because I'm an overachiever, I just got people signed up right away, right? And that was it for me. From that moment, when other people were relying on me, I knew that I needed to show up. And I hit Success Club every single month for 2.5 years because I just shared my journey. And then that 1 month that I stopped, it broke my streak. Since then, I've hit Success Club again, is my employer started making fun of me. And it really started to get to me. Like the people at work really started making fun of me. And I used to work in destination sales and marketing. So I traveled a whole lot for work, which is also part of that story. But I let that get to me. I really let their opinions get to me. I loved my job. I wasn't coming from a place where I hated my job. I loved my job and I was really, really good at it. And them making fun of me bothered me. I didn't want them to think I was lame or whatever. And so I literally didn't hit Success Club that month by one human. And it will forever rock me. I know exactly what month it is. It was the month that everybody got the cute little blue and white Beachbody umbrella, and I don't have it. And every time I see Brittany Huckel post with it, I just want to punch her in the face because it's a reminder that I didn't get that month. Like I just remember it so well. And then that next month, I remember being like, I'm quitting. I didn't hit Success Club. I lost my streak. I'm quitting. Obviously, I'm not going to keep doing it. I'm not the best, so I'm going to stop. And obviously, Kirsten did the whole like breathing belief thing to me again. And I just kept on going for another 2 years. Attended team calls, was always there, guys. I was always the girl attending team calls. I was the girl in the 300s at Summit, screaming Mariah and Brittany and Morgan and everyone's name from the nosebleeds. I was like, woo, hype girl number one, best woo girl you know. But never did I cross that stage. I just didn't because I didn't think I could. And year after year, I had anywhere between a dozen to 24 girls coming with me from Good Vibes Wellness to Summit. But I was a diamond coach or an emerald coach, and I never rank advanced because I didn't believe in myself. And then I went to Summit. Not this last year, but last year in Indy when it was actually in Indy. And I had been doing a lot of work on myself. I am very close with Chris Downing, one of the best humans I know. I was blessed to be part of his alpha testing group for the Power of I Am. And so I like eat, sleep, breathe that. And if you've never done it, or you don't know what the Power of I Am is, or you don't know who Chris Downing is, he's the best. But he was one of the humans who taught me how to believe in myself and really like smacked me upside the head every time I said that I wasn't worthy of this and I wasn't worthy of that. And I stepped into Summit last year with a very different mindset. I stepped in with the smallest team I'd ever had, so less coaches, but the coaches that were there were like ready to work the business. And when we got back from Summit, it was, I'm not kidding, they literally had an intervention with me. They all behind the scenes, they got this little powwow together, okay? And then they got me on a call and they were like, all right, AMQ, we need you to step up. We need you to run team calls. We need you to step up. We join your team. We love you. We love this culture. We love our team because my team's always had amazing culture. They're great. But we need you to do this. And I was like, guys, like that is like, woo, like I was like, okay, like there was some planning that went into this. I'm pretty sassy, you know. They didn't know how I was gonna like fire back. Like they had no idea how this was gonna go. And I just was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. Then, so that was in September. Started running my own team calls. Everything was great. Girls were like, they were rank advancing, hitting emerald, doing all the things just because I started showing up. Okay. Then I get a call from my corporate mentor, Jake Story. And he's like, this is October. And he's like, just so you know, AMQ, like you guys have more than enough points to be premier. You need to be 2-star. And this is like beginning of October. And I was like, I don't even know what that is. Like, what is the road to elite? I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, no, like this is serious. Like you're in the top 100 of Canada and like your team can do this. And I was like, no, we can't. What are you talking about? Like, I don't have any diamonds under me. What are you talking about? And so I'm a challenger. I'm an Enneagram 8 like Mariah. So I was obviously like, you're crazy. So then I went down to Chris Downing's gym in Ohio because he had a little retreat and we worked on, guess what? The power of I am. And I was like, I'm trying a little exercise here. I'm going to write down, I'm a premier coach. And I remember writing it down and being like, that looks weird. And like, he's coming around and he's like, what does yours say? I'm like, that's nothing. He's like, what is it? And I say it and he's like, yeah, you are. Like, he doesn't know what the hell that is either. He's like, sure, totally. You can do whatever you want. You already have it, AMQ. You got this. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I get in my car and I drive home. And the whole time I'm like, okay, like Chris believes in me and like Kirsten believes in me and Morgan believes in me and my team had an intervention. Like they clearly believe in me and Jake believes in me and my husband has always believed in me. He thought I should have done this like day one, go full time. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure out what it means to be a 2-star premier team. Let's go. So I get home and I have my call with Jake and yeah, I didn't even make it 2 weeks. And let me tell you, like, I'm not recommending doing this, but at this point in my life, I had quit my job that I had had for 10 years and I got a new one in the same industry, but that didn't have me traveling as much so that I wasn't living out of suitcases and I wasn't going from time zone to time zone and I could feel like I was grounded a little bit more. The problem was that I was miserable. I thought that I could stay and travel and just want less work, like just work a little less, right? Like not have 18-hour days, maybe just like 8-hour days, like regular work day. Turns out I had to leave the job I loved to one that I didn't like so much to realize I didn't want less working in that industry. I wanted none of it. I didn't want any of it, no more. So for me, it was something about all these people collectively believing in me. One day, somebody said something to me that was like totally against HR, and I quit on the spot. I just quit on the spot. I was not financially in a place to do it. I quit on the spot. I said, bye-bye. I'm not even giving you my 2 weeks notice. I'm done. Like, you don't appreciate me. Goodbye. And I was like, okay, like I actually have to do this for realsies. So that was middle of October, October 15th. Okay. You have to qualify, like it was like November 26th to be 2-star, hold your quals, all that. On October 15th, I was a shaky emerald. Shaky emerald. Got one of my leaders to diamond. She was pretty close, pushed her, told her exactly what she needed to do. I was like, this is what you need to do. We are going to be a 2-star premier team. This is what you need to do. I cannot stress enough. Mariah does a great job of this. When you need your team to do something, tell them. Because for me, I realized that my team they'd been waiting for me to tell them what to do for years. And then when I did, well, I didn't really, when they were like, they told me to tell them what to do, then I was like, okay, I will. And when I did, they came through. They came through. And we went from an emerald team to a 2-star qualified team, locked in 2-star, guys, like literally on the last day, do not recommend, it's so stressful. On the last day, and I got the call on like January 4th saying that we were a premier team. And I am telling you, there is so much power in closing out the year strong, because our team, although it has changed immensely since then and grown and is like 10x better, full of 10x better humans, so amazing. People were inspired by that. They were like, dang, if AMQ can just sit stalemate for 4 years and then in 4 minutes decide she's going to do this, then like I can do it too, And some people are like, oh, you had 4 years of clients underneath you. Guys, I sucked as a coach for 4 years. Let's be real. Like I wasn't checking in on people. I was slinging challenge packs. I was sometimes checking in with people, sometimes not. So it didn't matter that I had a client base because I wasn't the greatest to them, you know? And I almost think it's better if you have a smaller client base that you actually take care of and foster and keep around, because I'm so much better at it now, but I wasn't good at checking in on them, you know? So I didn't have a lot of repeat business. I didn't have the residual, okay? So if you're watching this, you're like, AMK, I've been doing this for 4 years. Check your eye rolls, please, okay? Like pretend like I was just a new Emerald coach, because literally my team had to actually be like, you suck, fix it. Like imagine what a shot to the ego that was. At least I did. There you go. I had to show them a thing or two. Now I'm like, all right, let's go. Now it's opposites happening, right? I want them, go, run, outrank me, do the things, let's go. Like, I want to be like, I helped you get there. Like my lovely friend Chris Downing likes to say, he likes to take credit for like how great this team is doing. And I will say that there are going to be moments in your life. There's going to be calls that you're sometimes on. There's going to be like a keynote speaker at an event. Maybe you go to a Rise conference. Maybe it is Summit. Maybe it's Super Saturday, whatever. There will be those moments where you're like, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be here. And I want you guys to pay attention to those moments, right? Like there are those team calls that you go back and listen to a million times. There's those like one-liners that you know that you repeat to yourself all the time. Let those be the things that get you to where you're going. Lean into those things. I literally tell myself every single day that everything I want, I already have. Okay? And that gets me, that's literally, it gets me through the days. Everything I want, I already have. And this goes to vision, right? This speaks to vision, because it's like, I want you guys to think about where you are right now, right? I want you to think about where you are right now. And in the chat, I haven't been looking at it, but in the chat, I want you to write how you feel. 1 feeling, 16 feelings, I don't care, rhyme them off. Give me words of how you feel right now, okay? I want to start seeing them just pop, pop, pop down. Now, I want you to think about how you feel and really sit in that. Make note of what you're saying. This is awesome. Okay, grateful, blessed, inspired, ambitious, relentless, inspired, stressed, excited, empowered, motivated, frustrated, grateful, fearless. Okay, I love this. Scattered, humbled. Okay, so I want you to think about, it's December 9th, 2020. So a year from now, okay? Maybe it'll be like the 10th or whatever, based on, you know, the calendar and what day Mariah decides to do team calls next year. But a year from now, when I come back and I host a team call for Team Bold and Beautiful, 2 things I want you to think about. 1, are you still going to be here? Are you going to be here? Will you? You going to be here? And 2, how do you want to feel when I'm having this same conversation with you guys and you have your teams here, and I'm talking about how ending the year strong is so important to set you up for the next year? How do you want to feel? I want you to be like, last year AMQ, you said this on the team call, and I said I was going to feel accomplished, and I do, right? I really want you to think about that. And something I say to my team all the time is, I love when people come on team calls, like, high five, all the power to you. I respect you. I live for team calls. I will talk on team calls. Everyone knows that. My team's like, I'm like the team call queen. I'm like, give me the team calls. I'll guest speak every team call. But if you are a human who comes on these team calls and you're like, team call, ooh, post on social, great. Oh, so nice. But if that notebook gets closed and you do nothing with it, don't come on the freaking team call, okay? Watch the recording or something in the background, because like while you're showering or something, because if you're not, and I'm not saying that if you're watching the recording, it isn't a good thing, but I'm just saying, if you come to these team calls and you're just a sponge and you're like taking in all the information and taking in all the information, it's not good, okay? Don't be an information hoarder. Don't be a sponge. I always say this to my team, they think it's hilarious, but don't be a sponge, be a sprinkler. When you come on team calls and you post the cute little like boomies of you being on the team call, I'm gonna tell you one thing, guys. People don't know what fug we're doing. They just see faces on a screen. And let's be real, we are living in a global pandemic. Not just Beachbody coaches are posting photos on a screen. The world is living on Zoom right now. So unless you do a cute little boomy and then talk to your phone after and say, you know what, AMQ is really fiery and she just said this thing to me today and it stuck with me and blah, blah, blah. And this is how I'm inspired by this and yada, yada. Tell a freaking story so that somebody can be watching your stories and be like, oh, yeah, okay. Has nothing to do with me, but maybe something that I said that you connected with, that you're regurgitating that message, that's going to be the thing that gets someone to DM you. Or that's going to be the thing that gets someone to be like, you know what? I'm going to watch this girl. Like, she's pretty awesome. Like, you never know. And people are always watching you. And your message is important. Yes. And your story matters. Yes. But guess what? Everything that you learn and all the people whose paths you cross in this community are also part of your story. And if you are taking time out of your life to come onto these calls, make them count. Learn something. And you know what? If you get off this call and you don't learn anything, I'm sorry, I didn't do my job. But if there's something that I say that you're like, yeah, okay, share that. And maybe it's not on your stories. Maybe you go live in your team page. I'm like notorious for going live after literally everything, because when it's fresh and I'm passionate about it, I want my team to hear it, you know? And I'm like, if that resonates with me, maybe there's one person it resonates with and they need to hear that today. So do that. The next thing I really want you to think about is, are you actually, so when you set these hairy, scary goals, right? You're like, I don't care what rank you are or what rank you want to be. Let's just get that. I don't care, because I don't think that is like, Mariah tells me all the time, I am more than a star diamond all the time. And that's the truth. But I want you to think about whether or not you're afraid of failing, right? Going for that goal and then falling short. Like, are you afraid of failing? Or are you afraid of like actually succeeding? Because, my friends, I promise you're not afraid of failing, because failing is how you learn, and you want to learn so that you can grow. You're afraid that you're actually going to do this thing. You're afraid that if you pull an AMQ and you do more in 5 months than you did in 5 years, people are going to notice. They're going to ask you to do things like speak on the National Wake Up Call and speak at events and be a keynote speaker here and do team calls for this team and all that stuff. And that freaks you out. You know why I know that's true? Because that was me. All these years, it wasn't that I was scared of failing, because I know that I am too damn passionate and committed to suck at anything I put my full ass into. But when I was half-assing, I was like, I'm just teetering. I was so afraid of being good at this, because it meant that I was more likely to disappoint more people, that I was putting all this pressure on myself, and it does exist. My team expects me to show up, and that's cool. They should. But I was super afraid of what that would feel like, okay? And we're doing incredible, and I'm so proud of my team. We don't know what the next year is going to look like, but I don't give a shit if we're elite qualified next year. I give a shit that we're elite qualified right now. I don't know who's going to be running with me next year, okay? I can cast out a vision, but I can't see into the future. The people that are here right now, you guys who are on this call right now, the live I did on the Elite Series yesterday for this team, I literally made you guys say, we are an elite team over and over again, because literally that's what you have to do. And the reason I told you that is because that's what I did. I literally wrote, I am a premier coach. And then I learned, nah, B, you are not a premier coach. Good Vibes Wellness is a premier team. I can't do this shit alone. I had to tell 162 people, hey, I need this from you guys. And I didn't even really know what I was asking them. But guess what? They were ready to go. They were like, let's do it. What can I do? I don't even know what that means. Okay, I'll do it. And it's crazy what happens when you believe in someone or something so much that you're like, I'll just do it. Whatever it is, I'll do it. And I want you guys to believe in your team that much, right? I want you to understand that, you know, I didn't, trust me when I say I did not bust my booty and tell all my girls to get their ducks in a row and, hey, do all these things so that I could get recognition and be put on a pedestal. Okay, listen, I have immense recognition fatigue. Okay, it's a real thing. It's not my thing. If they would just change the rules and make it so that my name wasn't there and it was the team's name, it would be a different story. But I have major recognition fatigue. I'm like, oh, you want me to do that? How about all 400 of the people on my downline do it too? Like, you know, like I'm very much, if I'm doing something, it's everybody's. Just like with Mariah, and I know you guys felt this way because I felt this way. Mariah being in this test group, Mariah being in the cast, I know you all felt like you were in that with her because you were. And now we get to be in it with her again. She gets to work out with us wherever we're working out, because that's the kind of leader that is a good leader. And I don't care what anybody tells me. You need to make it about everybody else, because let me tell you, how could I even survive? Like, what would I even do without you guys? You know, like, what would I even do without this community? I don't even know what I would do. I honestly don't know what I would do. And on the days when I don't want to, this is going to go into the next thing I want to say. The days when I don't want to do stuff, guys, the days when I don't want to send an invite. You all know Mariah's story. For my team that's on here, if you don't know Mariah's story, I'll send you a couple calls. But every time I don't want to send an invite, okay? I used to only think about my story. Now I think of two other people's stories. So every time I don't want to send an invite, every time I'm like, I don't want to, I just don't want to. I don't feel like it. I think about how my life would look if Kirsten didn't keep inviting me, even though I was a mean girl. Okay. I think about where my life would be if she just was like, this girl's a bitch, and just stopped inviting me. It would be bad. Like, it would not look good. I guarantee you guys that I would be 34 years old, not thinking about getting pregnant because I would be too busy still being drunk or binging and purging. And I wouldn't be able to, you know, create a life because I had just been so terrible to my body. I was in such a bad spin cycle that I am not positive I would have been out of it if Kirsten hadn't kept on inviting me. And I think about that. And I think about the friendships I've made. And this time I actually was smart and I brought tissues because I started crying when I did your live yesterday. I was like, geez. But I also think about Mariah every time I don't want to send an invite. And I think about how where she would be, or if she would even still be. And I think about the fact that I wouldn't be friends with her if I didn't say yes, and if Kirsten had messaged me, and if Mariah hadn't gotten invited. And I think about Britt Hulko and what her life would look like and how I wouldn't have her in my life. And guys, if you ever don't want to send an invite, okay, think about where your life would be. Think about what you wouldn't have, right? Because when I asked you guys to say how you feel right now, in a shitty time, when so many of us are battling so many things, so many of you said positive words. So many of you said grateful and blessed because of this community. Let's be real. That's why you said that. And so if you don't want to send an invite and you don't think you can be whatever the crazy, hairy, scary goal is that you have, just think about how much it would suck if there are people out there who are waiting on you to show up and that's your next best friend and you just don't show up, you know? and they don't get to change their life. Because people can criticize us all they want. People can shit on MLMs and say all the crap that they want to, but you don't know what you don't know. And they can call us a cult, they can call us whatever they want, but it doesn't matter, because what matters is how you feel when you sit on your couch fists or in your kitchen table fists or at your office or outside in the park or literally floating around in a pool or on a plane or wherever you're working. What matters is how you feel when that person sends you, oh my, I'm gonna cry again. When that person sends you a voice note just telling you for no reason in the middle of the day that you are loved and you are valued and you didn't do anything to prompt it, and you just know that you're loved. That shit is powerful. And if people think we're crazy when we share about that stuff, who cares? Like, they can keep like blocking me and deleting me and whatever and keep going. But like, that's what I want you guys to finish this year with, is that like, think about everything we like. It's crazy. It's been almost the entire year that our world has been rocked. And we had this. I feel so bad for people who didn't have this community. I feel so bad for people who don't even know it exists. I really do. And I was on a call, on a Canadian leadership call today. A couple of you guys were on it with me. And we were just talking about the opportunity and sharing the opportunity and how so few coaches share the coaching opportunity enough. And I literally wrote in the chat, like, no, like, I will never stop sharing about it because it is literally the best thing in the world. I will shout it from the rooftops forever. And one of our corporate mentors, Jeff Mathewson, was like, yeah, AMQ, we know, we can hear it all the way in Utah. I was like, but that's exactly who you all should be. You should be the girl on your social media who is talking about this community and this opportunity so much that the people who follow you might not really even know what you're talking about. But one thing's for sure, they know you love your life and they know that you have humans in your life that you would do anything for. And so many of us need that right now. So many of us need it. All of us need it. So I want you to be the girl who's loud and obnoxious and like Brittany unfollowed and blocked Virginia 18 million times. I give a lot of references to my friends, so it is what it is. But I'm down for people blocking me and coming back. Do you know how many girls I have on my team right now who blocked me and deleted me and then would creep me from another Instagram and then finally messaged me and said, hey, like so many. But it's because I continued showing up. And so many times people expect you not to, right? You are there to prove people wrong, not to prove them right, right? Like most people, unfortunately, think you're full of shit, think that this is not a thing, think home workouts don't work, think that we're crazy, think that internet friends can't be real, blah, 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 all those things. But they're totally okay to swipe left or right on an app and find their life partner. You know, it's kind of like it's a little confusing. Seems a little weird to me that that's okay, but whatever. So when it comes to hitting Success Club, I know Mariah really wanted me to talk, but it's true. Such a good analogy. I know Mariah really wanted me to talk about Success Club. So I'll be really honest. I used to be the coach who would like the 30th of the month would come around and I would be so angry that the first was coming and I had to start all over again. I was like, oh God, I have to like again, like that would literally be my attitude. Don't be that coach, okay? It is way too stress inducing. Also, it takes the enjoyment out of it completely. And now I've switched it up. Now I'm like, okay, I get to help 5 people by the 10th of the month. And sometimes I do it and sometimes I don't. This month I've done it. Great. It was a launch. Woo. Other months I don't, right? But wording is so important. You guys will notice I'm a words girl. Words are so important. I get to help this many people. I get to do this. I get to. I get to wake up. I have 2 feet and a heartbeat. I get to hop into my virtual gym. I get to host this team call tonight. You need to look at it as that, because every challenge, I was talking to one of my newest coaches a couple hours ago doing my first ever one-on-one call with her. And she was like rolling her eyes at me. And I was like, oh girl, get used to that eye roll. You're gonna be rolling your eyes at me a lot, boo. But it's because she told me something like, oh, this is a really big obstacle. This is what she said. So this really big obstacle for me. And then I came back at her and I was all bright side, right side. And I said, oh, that sounds like a great opportunity to talk on your stories about XYZ. And no, guys, I swear, like her eyes rolled to the back of her head. And it's so interesting that that's the first thing that we do, right? When someone says something positive, we're like, oh, like stop being like obsessed with hitting a number and just talk to people. Okay, look, be strategic. Like for me, today I woke up and I had my period, everyone. Okay. And that might just seem like a regular day for most people because it is, because we're women. But today I got my period and it means that I was like, okay, the narrative, guys, this is the narrative. Aunt Flo's visiting today. Well, my husband and I are going to do a really good job of trying to make her not visit again for a while. That's my narrative. Okay? Because that is what's fun for me on social media. And that is how I'm going to talk about it. And when Aunt Flo comes again, if that happens, I'll be like, damn, that Aunt Flo, she's so annoying. And like for me, that makes it fun. But you know what else it does? It shows people my personality. And 100% people have already been messaging me today because I'm talking about it. And they're like, oh, it's so exciting. Like, I'm going to be a mom. Oh. And I'm like, not that excited. And it creates conversations. But guess what? I have been strategic. I'm turning 34 next, 30, that's a lie, 35 next month. I'm 34 currently. I have been finding Facebook groups for moms in their 30s, people trying to get pregnant in their 30s. I've been following hashtags like 35 and pregnant. I have been actively seeking out the people who I want to watch my journey so that when I am talking to them, it doesn't feel weird. So that when I message them about 9-week control freak and we've been talking back and forth about this, that, the other thing, which app you use to track your period, la-di-da, we're already talking and it doesn't feel weird. And if you think for 1 second, and if you heard me say this, don't care because it's like one of my favorite things to say. If you think for 1 second that when you're looking at your Instagram stories and you message someone who's looking at your Instagram stories and you say, hey sis, I just wanted to say, thanks for following along. I hope you're doing okay in this weird and wacky time. More than anything during this time, we all need community. And I've got a pretty badass one. Have you ever considered joining us? If you think sending something like that is weird, no. Guess what? They're the ones watching you. That would be like if somebody at your window, right? Like looking into your living room window and you saw them and then you like open the front door and you said, hey, you want to come in? And they're like, no, I'm good. I'll be at the window. I'll just creep you. That's what that's like. Like you're doing what you're supposed to do. They are watching you for a reason. Okay. And if they want to like Homer Simpson into the bushes, that's on them. But it's your job to say, hey, because our social media is our storefront. It is. It is no different than when you go to a store and they say, can I help you? Okay. Your leader is Mariah. Hello. Like she's like the definition of like, how can I serve you today? How can I, I'm doing 18 things, but can I do a 19th thing and that be for you? Like that is literally who you have as your leader. So like lead with that, you know, you don't need to look far. like, come on, the apples shouldn't fall far from the tree in this situation. Don't make Success Club more than it is, okay? It's not, it's literally, guys, like for goodness sake, it is the best time to be a Beachbody coach because people need all the things we have. People need to figure out how the heck to eat properly. They're at home, they want to learn how to cook better food, right? Like, yeah, a little more time. So talk about that. Community, talk about that. Fitness, talk about that. I mean, let's be real. Like, I live in Toronto, Ontario. Even when the gyms opened up here, people were terrified to go to them because we're in a huge metropolis. Our cases are pretty rough right here, right? So those people that invested in Beachbody On Demand in February, they're like, dang, that was a good idea. And now they have a home gym because they're like, that's probably where I'm going to stay from now on. This is a long-term thing, guys. Things are like, the people who you get started on an at-home fitness journey now, likely a lot of them won't be going back to a gym, right? You need to think about the fact that you're creating a legacy here. And no matter how you want to lead, like if you lead with fitness, I have never, my team knows this, I am not a fitness focused person. Like I'm going to get up and work out anyway, you know? That is not why I do this. I do this because of how it makes me feel, not just the fitness part, just all of it. The whole thing, everything, Beachbody in general, all the things, cut me open, I bleed blue, like it is what it is. And I just want all of you to do that, you know, like for the rest of the year, just wake up every day and be like, 2 feet, heartbeat, let's go. I get to do this today. Like, and just do it. And if you don't want to send an invite, I don't care. Like, seriously, like do it. And if you don't want to send an invite, for goodness sake, just send me a DM and be like, AMQ, what invite are you sending that's working for you? And I will send it to you. Like whatever you need, as long as it means that you're inviting people, because somebody else is going to invite them. Okay. Oh, you know what? I'm going to say this because it's just a very powerful thing right now. And it's very valid for this launch. Okay. Nobody is saying that you have to do every single program that Beachbody puts out and that you have to love it. But, okay, if you're like, I'm just not going to do 9-week Control Freak. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to post on my stories. I don't like Autumn. I don't want to do it. I don't like the name of the program, blah, 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 whatever you're saying. Here's the thing. The average person follows 7 Beachbody coaches and they don't even know that they're following Beachbody coaches. They just think that they're like following spunky, positive, fun people. They don't know that we're coaches, right? If you don't invite them to 9-week Control Freak, somebody else will. And that person could end up being a star diamond leader. I have a story like that. That is something that happened to me. I learned the hard way. I didn't lean into 80-day obsession. Someone I know is now a leader on my upline that I should have invited. Okay, so don't be like me. When I tell you guys this stuff, it's coming because I'm literally saying this because I'm like, I did it and it sucked. So you could do it too and have it suck for you, or you could be like, okay, maybe I'll lean in. And you don't actually know if you don't like the program until you do it, okay? And then if you don't like it, oh my goodness, crazy, talk to your audience. Explain why you think this isn't vibing for you in this season of your life. Do you know how many times I've done that? I have no problem quitting programs. No problem, because I'll say why, you know? I'll explain it and I come back to it and I'll talk about why I came back to it and this and that and the other thing. That is called sharing your journey. But if you're trying to tell me that right now, you were all of us, I don't know, I guess I missed it, that you were also in the podcast and you also figured out that you didn't like 9-week Control Freak. Unless you were in the cast or in the test group and you decided you didn't like it, you're going to get that package and you're going to post those stories and you're going to do the freaking test group. And then if you don't like it, then you talk about not liking it, but you don't present with a problem. You say, I didn't enjoy this in this season of life because, but I'm going to do this because, and then you invite to that. Okay. Seriously, guys, lean into these launches. Beachbody gets better every single time. And they're like making our lives so easy. The promotion stuff for this program is like blowing my mind. I said this about Morning Meltdown, and Morning Meltdown built my business. Like I leaned right on in, fell right in the hole for Morning Meltdown, and have done it 4 times and love it. And that's what started my business last summer. Killed it. Like I crushed it with that. I literally was like, we're getting 100 babes, and I got 100 new people. And we're not talking about like when we fill out that thing on Instagram, we put all of our top coaches in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. Like, no, I was like, I'm going hard in the paint. I'm getting 100 new people to do this with me. And I did, like, number 1 to 100. That's the kind of dedication you need for a launch, right? And what happens if I had gotten 47 and not 100? Oh, okay, I'm changing 47 people's lives, you know? So don't be afraid to set the big goal, fall short of the big goal, learn from it, and then keep like just recycle, rinse, repeat, that whole thing. Okay. I just rambled. You guys are, I honestly didn't even look at the chat really. So that's pretty crazy, but you guys are free to ask me any questions if you want. I really got on my high horse there and I'm not sorry.
Girl, don't be sorry. She dropped gold. I was blowing the chat up. You guys were blowing the chat up. It was funny. Yes, such a firecracker. It was funny because Karina caught my face when you dropped, don't be a sponge, be a sprinkler. And I was like, yes, over here, like snapping to myself. And she was like, here we go. Mariah's getting fired up. But guys, that was gold. That was so good. Please unmute yourself. Ask logistical questions. Ask questions about motivation. Ask any question that you have about invites or Success Club or whatever. Seriously, she's here and she's an open book.
Yeah, I really am an open book. Like you're going to get.
Yeah. Hey, AMQ, will you hit this for me? Our girl, Sarah, says she feels stupid telling people to do this when she's where she's at today because she feels uncomfortable that she doesn't yet have her own results.
Okay. Yeah, I can totally speak to that. So remember how I said, right, real quick, that my focus isn't fitness. So if you toss me a follow and look through, I challenge you to scroll down and try and find a before and after. You won't. It's not how I run my business. There's nothing wrong with it, but there's a reason. So I also don't call them before and afters. I call them hello and goodbye. I tell my clients to take them and they can use them however they wish. If they want to post them, that's great. I battled bulimia twice. I got better and then I relapsed. I have extreme body dysmorphia. I've released 50 pounds. I look in the mirror and I see myself 50 pounds ago. It is a bitch. I deal with it every day. Okay. So for me, posting those photos triggers me because honestly, and this is so hard for someone to understand if you haven't gone through it, but sometimes I have a photo of me 50 pounds ago and me now, and I see the same person. Like I literally don't see the difference. That is a true thing that I experience. Okay. And it's one of the reasons it's taken me so long to get pregnant because I'm terrified of the way that my body's going to change. And I know what I'm up against, right? But it's okay because I have this community and I know Mariah's going to be like pumping rainbows up my butt the entire time. So I'm fine. But you do not, guys, I am a successful coach in this business. It took me a long time to be able to be confident enough to say those words, but I'm dang good at this. And I did not get good with before and after photos. That's not what got me here. You know what got me here? Talking about my eating disorder. Didn't always. It took me until 2 years ago to start talking about it. Sharing the books I'm reading that helped me through it. Okay. Serving my clients, because I'm going to be honest, I go searching for people who are in that place too. I use hashtags. I go find those people. I want that girl from 5 years ago. I want to help her, but they see the light. My light went away for a while I was a coach, guys, while I was a coach. And there have been people that have been watching. They watched it kind of go like dim a little and they watched it come back. And I talked about everything that was going on. And I know I'm a firecracker. I know I am. But do you know how much work it took for this exterior to match the inside? It's it took a lot. And it doesn't need to be about abs and listen, no one gives a shit about your abs. I'll be real. No one cares. Okay. This is what I'll say. No one follows a fitness influencer on Instagram, okay? It goes like this, like a Victoria's Secret model. You are not sitting on your phone going, oh my gosh, she's so inspiring. Oh, look how inspiring she is. No, there is no way you do that to a Victoria's Secret model. Do you know what's inspiring? Postpartum mom. This is hard, but I'm going to do it. Am I trying to get back to my pre-baby body? Nope, I'm not. I am trying to be strong and healthy for my baby. And then you say the words and you do it. You say the words and you do it and you keep doing it. There's no wagon, there's no track. You're on the road. And sometimes they put up these little roadblocks and you take a detour, but you get where you're going because you already have it. You're already there. And that is why when people tell me, I'm going to do 80-day obsession, I know that I do this voice a lot, but this is legit what you guys all sound like. Sorry, you all sound the same. I don't want to do post before and afters because I'm only on day 11 of 80 day. And Okay, cool. Don't post before and afters. How about you do this? Stand in front of a window, okay? Get all cute and shit, or don't. Be fresh-faced, whatever, and take a freaking photo of yourself. Smiling, not smiling, looking awko taco because you don't really know how to pose in front of a camera yet because you're not quite confident yet. Take the photo and post it and say how you feel. Talk about how you feel. And then in 6 months, you go back to that photo and you're like, wow, I look really awkward. But I remember how I felt on that day. And now I feel like this. And then you take another selfie and then you swipe right for the other one. And you say, whoa, 6 months ago, I felt this way. And now I feel this way. That, guys, is a before and after, right? Oh. That journey. You don't need, I will never tell you, like maybe when I have a baby and then after I'll probably start posting the before and afters, maybe, I don't know. But like, it'll never be like that for me. It's not about your physical journey. Like Beachbody is amazing. We're the best. Listen, I don't work out for abs, okay? They're showing up, but it's not because I'm like, today I'm going to have a 7th ab. Like no one gives a shit about your abs. Okay. They just care about how you got them. And it's like what's the word? It's like a side effect. Like my strong core is a side effect of showing up for myself every day and doing my crazy little dance parties and like loving my life, you know, like it's a side effect. And you need to remember that it's all in your head. Like no one is actually looking for your before and afters. They don't expect anything of you, right? Like your audience isn't expecting you to have like a 20-pound drop because you did this test group. Guys, I was in the MBF and MBFA test group. This is how many pounds. This is how many. 6 weeks. I dropped this many pounds, 0, but 16 inches. Okay. So, but I didn't really talk about that much. Ryan knows my entire MBF, MBFA journey was like all here. Like MBF and MBFA got me through back to back quals, got me through so many people leaving my team. And I talked about that the entire time, guys. It doesn't need to be about the freaking squats or the overhead presses. Like that's not what it's about. It's about how you feel when you're doing those moves and what you're thinking about, you know, like it's the mind body connection. So like, no one gives a shit about your like physical transformation. Okay. I'm sorry. Like it's great. Show it, be proud of it, but don't just talk about how it feels so great that you see your abs popping. Okay. Talk about why it's great that you have your abs popping, you know? Like
and me, it's like awesome in the chat. She said weight loss is a side effect to the happiness journey. And I love that.
Yeah, it is. And so please like know that, right? Like that you don't need to feel like you need to look a certain way or whatever. And honestly, look at this screen, right? Maybe some of us came into coaching and we had a preconceived notion of what a successful coach looked like, right? I know I did. And then I would look and I would be like, oh, well, I seem to be proving myself right because every successful coach doesn't look like me. And I was like, fuck that. I'm going to be a successful coach. I don't know anyone that looks like me that's in the top Canadian network. I don't know any small, sassy, brunette, big butted, doesn't give a shit what anyone thinks about her girl in the top Canada coaches. I just don't. Okay. So I was like, that feels good because now I can show my team that I can do this and I don't look like XYZ, doesn't need to be said, but like I showed that you didn't have to post before and after. I didn't do what every other Beachbody coach did before me. I did what I wanted to do. And when I started doing that, that's what started working. And for the people that are on this call that knew me before, they can speak to that. Like Mariah knows, Katie knows, there are people that have been through this and seen me. And I was like kind of there, always the girl who was outgoing, but never really coaching. And then I came out the gates. And it was because I started just being me. And it sounds so lame and you hear it all the time, but I swear there's something so powerful about just owning the fact that you sometimes wear buffalo plaid with leopard print. And that's what you do. You know, like those things that make you you, lean into them. Don't run away from them, you know, lean into them. I'm the girl who, like, if I'm having a bad, like this morning when I woke up real emotional, I was like, I'm gonna put on lashes because it makes me feel better. Like, I just talk about that. I'm like, you know what? I felt a little out of control this morning, and then I put on lashes and I feel great. So, like, just be you and know that you don't need a physical transformation. I really think that, like, we really need to get away from that, honestly. And oh, glad I didn't fart.
Hey, AMQ, I have a question for you. I have two more. So,
Okay.
Gina, I'm going to go back to your question, but I feel like Prina's question kind of tied in really well. When you're going through a hard time or you've lost your light, how do you communicate and share that without sounding like you're complaining?
Are we talking about, like, communicating to our team?
No, I think on your stories, on your social media.
Okay. That's a really great question because okay. Oh, Lord. Okay. So I'm dealing with that a lot right now with my team. I have a lot of people who are in that stage, and I get it, right? It's an interesting time for a lot of us. I'm a big, I really touched on this earlier, but if somebody is, including yourself, if you notice that there's something that's kind of like making you tick the wrong way, lean into it, right? Say, okay, I'm feeling this way. Okay, I'm going to try to, I notice every morning I wake up and, like, before my eyes are even really open, I feel a little anxious. And you address it, right? You're like, okay, I'm feeling it. I'm allowing myself to feel the feels. What am I going to do about it though? Am I going to talk on my stories and say that I'm anxious? Yeah, okay. Am I going to ask my audience, like, hey, you know, I don't want to misuse the word anxious. Like, I actually have been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder, and it makes me really upset when people say things like, that makes me so anxious. They don't realize, like, what that actually means. But talking, yes, ask your audience to engage for sure. But for me, it's like, okay, I am literally the human definition of the Energizer Bunny. If I could be literally parkouring off walls, I would. That's me. I'm just like, all the time. Okay. And so for me, I was like, okay, Amanda, you gotta meditate. You gotta do it. You got this. You can do this. And I was like, 5 minutes of not moving and being like, what? It was very daunting. But I started doing it last year. I downloaded Headspace and I started doing it. And I shared that. I'm going to give personal examples because I think it's important. That's huge. So I would wake up and I would be like, okay, I'm feeling it again, that weird, like, restlessness in your own body, not knowing where to turn. Okay, I'm going to meditate. And then you share, like, I used to screenshot the Headspace meditation of the day. And I would say, like, just like a little blurb, like how it made me feel and why I liked that meditation. Now we're blessed. We can use Unstress, you know, that's so much better because, like, we're funneling back into our organization. But you come up with a solution to your problem. And just like with your business, if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter because you're giving value to your people. I'm entertaining AF, but if I wasn't also educating my audience, they wouldn't keep coming back. You know, like, if I wasn't like, this is the book I'm reading, this is why it's so good in this season of my life. This is also why I'm totally okay with reading 4 at a time, 4 books at a time for the 4 things I'm battling right now. Talking to your audience about that. When someone messages you and says, I just ordered that because of you, that is exactly how you're helping people. So if you're struggling with something, I don't even like to say the word struggle, more of a battle, because you're a warrior. So if you're battling something and you're talking about it, and then you're like, but I'm going to fix it, or at least try, I'm going to go down swinging by doing this. Okay, this really worked. A friend of mine recommended I implement this. I'm going to try that, and then share it. Our job is to share, like, everything, you know? And so for me, it's therapy. Like, I love the fact that I can just walk through these stages of life with people. And you are all going to get me through this pregnancy because it's going to happen, right? And I'm going to share it. I'm going to share it all. And I'm going to have good days and bad days, but this community is going to get me through it all, you know? And so I do think there's a huge difference between complaining and sharing, though. And you have to be so careful. And, you know, it's like a fish can't see water because they're in it. Like, it's the same thing. Sometimes you're so deep in it. And so I will say this, if someone whether it be your leader, whether it be your success partner, whether it be like somebody else, you know, in this community, and they check in on you and they maybe say to you like, hey, like, I'm watching your stories and I'm noticing this a bit of a vibe. Number one, don't be afraid to be that friend that tells your friend, like, I'm not really enjoying watching your stories and here's why. And like, if I feel like that and I know you, I can't imagine how other people feel. Like, don't be afraid of doing that. And on the other side, like, don't be so freaking sensitive if somebody's coming to you trying to give you that advice too, because I know that that's something that's going on my team right now, where like there is a lot of Debbie Downers. And unfortunately, guys, like, our energy is very important, you know, and energy begets energy. And one of my coaches on my team has been telling me all freaking day to protect my energy, because that's my jam. And you have to, right? You do have to, but you also have to be mindful that like there's a lot of people that are watching you that you don't even know. And if you're showing up and you're being a rain cloud 7 days a week, like, you're allowed to have the rainy days, you know, but they're supposed to be the rainbow. Like, you can't just like, you can't do that to people, you know? So it's also a tough time. So like, let's not try and be like stormy all the time. Yeah. Like, talk about the, like, what everything comes back to, like, sure, yeah, do it, feel bad. And then what? Like, if anyone knows anything about improv, the whole concept of yes and, like, sit in your shit, okay? Sit in it. And like, keep going, right? You don't just like stay there. So hopefully that helped. Okay,
And
that was
yeah, that was good. And then the very last one, sorry guys, we're taking you over, but this is going to be good. Gina, you had a great question. AMQ in the quickest way that you can. How did you find 100 people to get started with you for one Morning Meltdown 100?
Okay. This is something I should revisit actually for this launch, but I just talked to every single person that was following me. So not cold messages, but I messaged every single person that was following me, and lots of people who I had never connected with before. Not people, I made sure they were following me, right? Even if they've like never watched a story before. And I just said, hey, sorry I haven't thanked you earlier for following me. Just wanted to give you a heads up. I let them know what they could expect from me in the next coming months. So in that season of my life, I was still traveling a ton for work. So I was like, you're going to see me bopping around all over the place. I'm going to be doing workouts probably on beaches and campsites and all that stuff. I'm actually starting a new workout program. It's going to be 100 workouts. So you're going to see me doing 100 workouts in all kinds of different places. Stay tuned. I'm going to have some fun spots. I'm just letting you know right now, when we start things up, you're totally welcome to join us. Here's the thing about that message and why that was so genius, is that these are people that were never watching my stories before. And that message prompted them to. Was that a cold message? You can think it was. I don't care. I wasn't selling them anything. I was telling, you're already following me, right? So I'm telling you what you're going to see if you follow me. And now you can choose if you want to keep following me. But following means like actually watching. So I wanted to make sure I was giving them an opportunity to actually come watch me. That's how I got 100 people. Because I had people like, yeah, okay, I'll watch you. And then they did. I think we should all do that for this launch. And honestly, glad you asked that question, because we should all do that. I haven't done that yet for this launch, but we should all do it. On it.
Yes. I'm like, dang, Gina, I didn't even think of that. That's awesome. Messaging the people who are currently following you and just telling them to look for you. That's awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
This team call was fire. I'm going to go